Wow, we're on part 5 already, and in part 5 we're going to be talking about email journeys. And really, we have a slightly different approach at GivePanel to email journeys than other companies. Specifically, what we're really looking for with our email journeys is that connection between what the person is doing and the cause, and the kind of more than just the cause, the people who work at the cause, because we believe in human connection, that people connect to people. So I'm going to talk through about how we think about emails and how you might want to think about your emails to get real success with them. So first of all, every fundraising platform sends out transactional emails, right? Platform emails. Like when you probably have shopped on an e-commerce website, you get your receipt, you get a reminder of things, you get these kind of transactional emails. We all understand that we get emails from platforms, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's Netflix, whatever it might be. We get these transactional things based on what we've done. And Idenate is no different to that. They have great transactional emails. And they're really good. We suggest keeping these. Don't turn them off. If you have the option to turn them off, don't turn them off. They will really help drive the average raise per fundraiser. What they're not going to do, though, is really build a deeper relationship between your brand, your charity, and the person doing the event. And a lot of people doing these campaigns are new to your brand, so you really want to make that personal connection. So you need your own emails as well, coming from your own brand, specifically from a person, as we'll speak about in a minute. So you want to use both your own emails from your own brand or an organization, specifically about your campaign and why you're doing it and that kind of things, as well as these fundraising transactional emails from the fundraising platform. So just wanted to kind of start with that. And then in terms of then what you do with your own emails, GivePanel has now, this is in all your accounts, if you have a GivePanel account. This is quite a new feature. We just started with personal emails, really. Like they were just plain text emails that you could send to people doing your challenge, because we really believed in that kind of human to human connection. And at the end of the day, I don't send my mum or my friends an email like with branding and HTML and like colors and like banners and things like that, do I? And so we really opted for that personal approach first. Now we've introduced the kind of branded and corporate approach too. So you have the choice between using a branded theme, where you can have like images and banners and logos and colors and call to action buttons that are different sizes and colors and things like that, versus a more personal touch where it's like you can still use links, you can still use emojis, you can still do merge tags, which is when you bring in like when you bring in something like a fundraiser link into your email, like dynamically. So you can still do all of that in personal emails, but it just doesn't have all that branding around it. And really, the way that we see it is that you really want to create that personal connection. Then you should use the personal things. But occasionally, you're going to want to tell a story about what the challenge is, about what your organization is doing as well, that people are used to. And that's when you'd use the corporate one. So with GivePanel, you can use both in your email journeys for your event. And the way that our email journeys work is that they're just very linear, and you can just create as many emails as you want, and you set them based on certain criteria, which I'm going to show you in a minute how you can do it. But essentially, you can send it out so it goes out on a fixed date to everyone. You can segment by certain things. You can also have it dynamically, so it's like one day before the start date, or you can have it 7 days since they registered. Those kind of simple journeys. So it's email journeys which are quite complicated but simplified to make it really, really simple to set up for you. So when it comes to personal emails, the kind of things I'm talking about, I'm going to show you a few examples. The key thing is that they're from a real person, right? The amount of organizations I see that are just from generic, like from team charity. And that's all great, but it's like doesn't really make me feel like I'm connected to anything. People really connect to people. So we want to keep them from a real person. Just pick someone in your organization who's just responsible for being the face of your emails, basically. Keep it very short and informal. So again, how you'd email a friend or your mum and dad. You don't, well, maybe you do write really long emails, but normally it's kind of quite short, informal, to the point, right? And then the other thing to think about is like you can have it interactive, like email. They can email you back. Wow, where you can actually have this connection and they can ask you questions and things. And like, I think that It depends on how big your events are and things, but I think if you can go that extra mile and really build those relationships with these fundraisers for the long term, it's worth having that two-way sort of dialogue with the person. Then they know there's someone really real there at your charity, because at the end of the day, these are virtual events. They've never met anyone at your charity, and so I think it could be really helpful to do that. So here's an example of a personal email. I'm not going to go through examples of branded emails because you all do them and you all know exactly what I mean. They look branded. They're like a web page, right, through an email. And I think people just know they're being marketed to when they see that. But it's okay to tell a branded story once in a while. In terms of personal emails, this is the kind of thing I mean. So this is like an example, so the subject would be checking in, so ... So I'm always like, what is this about? I'm not telling them what it's about in the subject line. It's like, I need to read it. And then it's like, hey, Nick, just checking to say thanks for signing up to our challenge and see if you have everything you need. Your t-shirt is on its way. Any questions right now? So this is going to also just stop all the t-shirt questions like in the group, like where is it coming? It just asks a question. It's very simple. It's from Amy, but Amy's not trying to sell me anything. She's genuinely trying to help me. I'm not being like, it doesn't feel transactional to me. It's not that they just want me to create a fundraiser. It's not even got a link in it. And this is just kind of like could the first interaction that you have with people who are doing your event actually be not transactional, be actually about connection, you know what I mean? And not selling them something or not trying to get them to do something. And I think that's kind of like what I'm talking about with these personal emails. Another example, and this is one that I think every single organization should have in their stewardship journey somewhere, which is your fundraiser link. Like, it's amazing how many people, like the link to their fundraiser, or the URL, I wouldn't call it a URL because no one knows what that really means, so they understand what a link is. That is something that they want to share on WhatsApp, they want to share on email, they want to share with their families and friends if they're going to raise money. It's amazing how many people can't find that or don't know how to get it or whatever. So it's just like, if it's logged in their email, it's amazing how many times they will come back to an email like this as a reference to get the most important thing from a fundraising perspective, which is their fundraiser URL and their link. So I would just say something like, hey, Nick. And again, you would put this, the whole point is you would put this in your own tone of voice from the charity. I'm a Brit. I'm not from Ireland, so I've said thanks a million in this one. But so it would be from Amy. Hey, Nick, just wanted to email you your fundraiser link so you have it on hand and you can share it easily with your friends and family to support you. Thanks a million for being part of the challenge. Here it is, link. If you have any questions, I'm always here. Let me know. Amy. It's positive. It's upbeat. Do you understand? It's like, it's very useful for them. Now they'll have an email saying your fundraiser link in their emails all the time. They can revisit that. They can label it them so they can like mark it and star it and favorite it themselves. And it's just something they'll keep coming back to, because it's amazing how many people are like, where's my fundraiser link? I don't know where it is. And if they've just got it there, it will remind them, if it's in their inbox, to share their fundraiser link, and it will be worth a lot more donations for you as an organization. So that's something I think everyone should have, something similar to this in their journey. And I think if you put branding around this, it sort of dilutes the connection that I'm talking about. And then, so in terms of using GivePanel, you can also use, by the way, we have a Zapier integration, so you can zap registrations into MailChimp or Campaign Monitor or whatever email tool you use. The thing that's easy about GivePanel is like, it's all in one platform, and so the segmentation, things like that are easier. So the four things you can really think about with your emails are: one, sending an email based on whether someone's created a fundraiser or not. So you can create just a bunch of emails that go out to people over time when they haven't created a fundraiser, just reminding them, hey, got any questions? Is there any reason why you haven't set up a fundraiser yet? That kind of thing. Amount raised, so you can also do that for zero raised. So you can say, if they haven't raised anything, send them this series of emails like, is everything okay? Like, how can we help you with your fundraising? That kind of thing. Likewise, if they've raised 100 euros, you can say, hey, well done for raising 100 euros. How can we help you raise more? And then fixed or dynamic dates. So the dates, the way that dates work in GivePanel is you can just set it on like X days from the start date, end date. So that's a fixed date. Or you can say like it's, 7 days since they registered, that kind of dynamic dates as well. So you can have a bit of a journey for them. And then you can choose your branded, like I said, your personal or your branded approach. I think that personal has that connection, branded has that kind of storytelling element from the organization, and a bit of brand building, which is important too. So you want to choose them as you want to. And then we also want to help you measure the impact of your emails, right? So we have new reports. They're in our emails, but they're just very, 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 very simple. They're now so email stats going back in GivePanel weren't great. Now they're really, really nice. So this gives you things like your overall like delivery rate and things like that. but it also will give you each email will give you the stats for each email. And then we have this above average or below average little marker for ones that are either below average or above average for your own data. So you'll be able to see which ones actually outperform. So does this personal email really get like more engagement, or does it get less engagement? You'll be able to tell that yourself. And the way that those above average and below average kind of reporting works is that just if it's 30% better than your average emails, it will get that above average logo. And if it's 30% worse than all the rest of your emails, it will get below average. And so this is something that's quite addictive to go in and see which emails are working best for your organization, and you can click on the above average ones and say, oh, well, why did this work well? And click on the below average ones to say it didn't, and so you have all your email reports here. And so it's really important that you send all these, you create a great email journey for your campaign. It doesn't take long in GivePanel to do that, but then you kind of monitor it and measure the impact. And then just want to summarize this video, this part. So you want to use both transactional platform emails from the platform and your own email journeys from the charity. You want to use personal emails to drive deeper connection and response. Use the more branded emails in GivePanel to tell a story about your organization, and then measure each email, see what works best, adapt, figure out why certain emails worked and why certain emails didn't. Okay, thanks. We're now on to the last video.